Live.
Nice. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024, 10:14 a.m. We're in Denver, Colorado. What's Good Denver is a weekly celebration of culture and discovery, fun stuff to do in Denver for kids, couples, singles, and old timers. I am Ryan Estes. I'm with Tom, back on the tramp. Donahue, how is the back?
The back is feeling nice. I went to, oh, this could be a highlight for the week, but you know what? I'm going to get right into it. I went to Snowbon,
Ooh,
which is, they had one down in Lakewood. This is a new location that they just built up in Thornton, and it's a sick place with the best tramp setup in the city by far. They got sick tramp balls, they got super tramps. They have a dope skate park with like a sweet airbag jump and flow section and a street section. It's a cool place, and they even have well, their main thing is that you can learn how to ski and snowboard there off slope. They have these like big like slope things with that. They have carpets that are like a treadmill basically. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of that,
oh, totally. Yeah,
but
like the indoor snowboarding.
yeah, people essentially train over there or learn how to snowboard without having to waste money at the mountain. So it's a cool place, but man, their trampoline setup is top notch.
And the back felt good?
Back felt good. Yep.
Nice, man.
No pain. The knees weren't used to the impact just yet, just because I haven't had like a really long session like that in a while, but it's totally fine. So
That's
good.
awesome.
You should definitely bring Ozzo up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely come through with you guys too, show you some cool stuff. But the skate section is really sick.
Cool.
Hmm.
Nice, man. Well, that's good to hear. No spoiler, but like Tom was struggling with a little bit of back issues, getting some PT from years of extreme sports.
Yeah,
Trauma.
exactly. Specialized PT in Littleton
Yeah.
was the spot,
Nice, man.
and they helped out. I'm pretty sure it was Littleton. I don't know. Specialized PT.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Nice. We're also joined by the number one player selected in the NFL draft of podcasting, Troy Higgins. How you doing, Troy?
Doing good. Doing good. How did you guys feel about how did you feel about the Broncos pick? I don't even know who they picked actually.
Oh boy, I forgot to. Tell me about the Raiders. How are we doing?
It was pretty awful. They selected another tight end with the 13th overall pick. So and then yeah, they just drafted one last year too. So
I mean, it
I
is
guess
a tight ends league.
yeah, I guess I don't know. We just signed like Michael Gallup.
Ugh.
So I guess they're really loading up Gardner Minshew with weapons to go sub 500 and get last on division.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the Broncos got Bo Nix. I feel like that was a great
That's
draft.
yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
a
right.
that's a great pick considering, we also picked up Zach Wilson to free
Mhm.
agency. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I you know,
Yeah. It feels like everyone in that division is kind of just on pause until the Chiefs are done just doing what they do.
I
Kind of the
ju-
way it feels.
totally. I mean, if the AFC West could do the NFL a favor and just stack up on defense and just absolutely beat up the Chiefs, because that would be what? That'd be 6 games that the AFC West could band together and just beat up the Chiefs and everybody else. Just be like,
Mhm.
we're gonna take the L, but so what? Like, let's just let's let's not score points, but beat up Patrick Mahomes. I mean
That's a
that
good strategy.
Beat him.
like take an L for the next couple of years so we can kind of get Patrick knocked down a couple rungs. The freaking Chiefs, I'm still not over that. I'm still upset.
We need that. We need that.
Yeah, but Bo Nix, I felt pretty good about that. I was like, yeah, I like that guy. Bo Nix beat up the Buffs. He's a good quarterback, man. We'll see. You never know. I really wanted Penix, but the Falcons for some reason are stacked at quarterback. Oh, who knows? Who knows? What are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, that was like atrocious. I don't know
They got
I don't know what that was about.
Kirk Cousins for
Falcons.
160 million and a first round draft pick. Penix. Oh, hey, it's the Falcons. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, and Kirk Cousins has a no trade clause. He's guaranteed 60 million.
Yeah,
And then Penix is like 24.
I think he's 26 or
So
something.
by the end of
He's pretty old.
Cousins' contract, Yeah, he's supposed to be like almost 30 by the time Cousins' contract is over. So interesting pick there.
Jeez.
Interesting pick. But, you know, we don't have to think about the NFL for some time now. All we are is just rallying behind the Nuggets. And Troy's been so gracious through the series to let me just droll on and on about the Nuggets during the Lakers season. Because we all know the Lakers are Troy's team. And I got to say, I tip my hat to the Lakers, man. They played with heart and soul. All those games could have gone both ways, you know, but you know, Troy and I were talking about it. There's something that happens to Jamal in the postseason. He just becomes electric, and that's that championship it factor that you really can't you can't calculate. You know, it's just a certain swagger, and you could see. Troy, maybe you back me on this. The Nuggets were rattled last night, dude. They were so many turnovers. They were missing shots. It wasn't until like the last 3-4 minutes that you start to see that slower swagger Nuggets game develop. And then I was like, oh, once I saw that, it's like, it's over.
Yeah, it was the Lakers came to play and they played almost a perfect game. Almost. It just I think in the fourth quarter, like there was just a couple fundamental mistakes that I think ultimately ended up costing the game. They missed, I don't have the exact numbers, but they missed like 4 or 5 free throws in the fourth, like pretty just shots they needed.
Yeah.
There was a rebound. It was just it just seemed lazy. Like they went right to Aaron Gordon. I think it was in the last minute of the game. It was an offensive rebound for Aaron Gordon. He kicked it out to Murray. Murray had a wide open three for the second chance points. It was just like little things like that that were like they just like against the Nuggets, you can't make those mistakes. You got to be perfect because the Nuggets will capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was it's also like I felt like LeBron played a perfect game. I mean, 39 years old, giving it his all. He like twisted his ankle or something. He was like you could tell he was just giving it everything he had, but it just the
LeBron was
Nuggets
a dominant
good.
force, dude. Monster dunks, physical, you know, hitting threes. I don't think he missed a 3-pointer all night.
Yeah, he was like it felt like anytime he drove to the basket, it was going in, but it's just Nuggets are just too good. The Porter, Murray, Jokic, it's just like there's nothing you can do. They're just so good.
Totally. Porter had a great series. I mean, what that guy is dealing with emotionally, he just put it on the court and he's just shooting so hot. It's amazing.
Like him and Murray, it feels like every time they shoot a three, it's going in. That's just like how it feels.
I love it. Oh my God. Bring on the T-Wolves. Ant, I don't know. Ant's on fire, so we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be an exciting series. All right, today's feature is Denver's Myths and Legends, captivating exploration of the city's folklore, urban legends, and historical figures. And this is just next in a long chapter of Denver heroes. We've already gone over a couple, and I've got one prepared today. It should be absolutely extraordinary. To follow the show, go to kitcaster.com/Denver and subscribe on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And people have been reaching out. And I want to let you know that, like, my buddy David, he wanted us to promote a show, and we just weren't able to work it out, man. If you're listening to the show, sorry about that. Well, I couldn't scramble to get a Friday mini episode out to promote that show you wanted to, but you know, keep those requests coming. We will definitely promote anything you got going, man. We're here to like support folks in Denver, and if you're out there promoting, you know, we're a helping hand. So yeah, if you have an event, you have something you want to promote, kitcaster.com/Denver. Today, our music is by Troy Higgins, and our sponsor is Kitcaster. You can go to kitcaster.com if you want, you know, to go on top podcasts. Basically, if you want to get interviewed on the world's top podcast, go to kitcaster.com. All right, let's jump into events. Tom, what you got?
I got a couple nice things going on this weekend. Lots of music going on. But first, lots of derby events. I think you're going to talk about some, Ryan. I didn't highlight any, but just something to put out there. It's got to be big derby weekend this weekend. That's spreading out to Denver as well. One thing I did want to highlight, though, is the Sax Appeal Sunday Jazz Brunch featuring Tony Exum Jr. at Spangalang Brewery. This is a jazz brunch with Tony on the saxophone. It's going to be super sick, I'm sure. Spanglang's also a really nice place, and I haven't had brunch there, but I'm sure it's going to be fire. Tony, a master of contemporary jazz, R&B, and funk, is bringing his smooth and soulful sounds to the heart of the historic Five Points neighborhood, affectionately known as the Harlem of the West. I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The 5 Points hosted all of the greats. I mean, one thing we've got going, why Denver is an economic powerhouse is largely because this is where telecom went through the Rocky Mountains. So we had a lot of technology here very early on. But because, you know, how many ways can you get over the Rocky Mountains? Not many. We also have the Eisenhower Tunnel. So like all those touring musicians from the East Coast, you know, and the South, they're trying to get to the West Coast, then they have to come through Denver. So yeah, 5 Points is just an absolute. There's some great pictures of like all the greats. Mingus traveled back and forth. Miles Davis traveled back and forth. Louis Armstrong traveled back and forth. Duke Ellington, Count Basie, all those guys back in the day. That was the swinging spot for sure.
Nice. So this is a cool opportunity to hear a part of that. They are saying that Tony is an incomparable saxophonist from that era. So this is actually a free event. You pay for your brunch, obviously, but the show itself is free. So if you want to go see that, make sure you get on and reserve a table, because that's what you're going to have to do to get in.
That's dope, man. Plus, you know, sax appeal is the kind of jazz pun that needed to be refreshed. It's kind of on par with like spelling jazz with a saxophone. Like that's a classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic. You got to get going.
Classic. You'll love to see that happen.
You really do. You look forward to that.
That's Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. Another Cinco de Mayo event is going to be immersive Cinco de Mayo daytime block party at Mission. Why not get some bass in your face outside on Cinco de Mayo, outside one of the best venues in town, Mission Ballroom? They have a great area over there where they do outside events.
Cool.
Very rarely. But on top of that, right after, you can walk right inside Mission Ballroom and see a full show as well. So
Dope.
you know that they're going to do well for the block party during the day. And then they're going to slide right inside for immersive at Mission Ballroom. Get some bass going. Check that out. That's Sunday, again, Cinco de Mayo. And then once my slow computer opens up the Red Rock schedule, tomorrow, Wednesday, Two Friends at Red Rocks. If you don't know who Two Friends is, they're the mashup guys. All they do is the craziest mashup mixes. It's but a lot of people are all about this type of thing. Troy, do you know who Two Friends is?
I remember hearing about them. They've been around for like a while, right? Like over 5 years, like
Oh,
maybe even
yeah.
10 years.
They do the big booty mixes.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. If you ever heard those.
I remember that. That was like SoundCloud days from way back when.
That is them. They have about 100 million big booty mixes, and all they do, and I mean, it's an art in itself, but like they make these mashups that have 10 different drops and lyrics from 30 different songs, and it all works somehow. But that's what they do. I'm sure at their show, I mean, I know at their show it's the same thing. It's like a big booty mix live, but they're definitely not mixing that live. It's got to be all like the mashups got to be done already.
Have you seen the AI programs that can like isolate acapellas out of any song?
Dude,
And
yeah.
it's like, and the quality is like, it sounds like studio recording quality almost, not quite.
Yeah, you get a little bit of like artifacts from different instruments or frequency ranges, but it works better than anyone could do on their own.
Anything we've ever had before. And
Yeah.
that just with the whole mashup game, like opens the door like just times a billion. Because
I know. It's crazy.
I remember back in the day when like you wanted to find an acapella, like if it wasn't on YouTube, like you couldn't get it. Like there was no way.
You can't. Unless you're already a successful artist who has like industry connections and can get the real studio files. Like it was impossible to try to make a remix of something. But now you can remix pretty much anything you want because
Yeah.
the AI will pull those lyrics out for you.
it's insane. And yeah, like you were saying, like you would never be able to get an acapella to, a song unless you had a connection with the team or the record label.
Exactly.
But like just crazy, like what, yeah, that just they didn't used to have that. And now that you can isolate, oh, I think you can do it with any instrument, vocal, drums, bass, whatever, out of a song and use it. It's just like it's pretty mind-blowing.
And I
It
think
is
this is a
wild.
place where the music industry is gonna lead the charge as far as generative AI, because this is gonna pop up all over the place. You can do it with music. You can do it with voice and audio. Obviously, you're gonna be able
Hmm.
to do it with whole like movie scenes. Where you're like, dude, put me in the middle of this like Goodfellas scene.
Yeah.
You can be in movies, and like I think music has the best precedent. I mean, music is over legislated like a mug. I mean, you try and sample a Bob Marley song, dude. The Marleys will send so many lawyer goons after you. Like, so they're
Hmm.
very good at protecting IP. And right now, I mean, we're looking at basically potentially the death of IP. Like, how are you going to put a moat around people just completely like regenerating everything on their own? And like, how are you going to create licenses and syncs on that? I mean, just for two friends, Troy, like, how are they, able to do these mashups? Can you like do a mashup and put it on Spotify like that if you have 30 different samples?
I think as long as you're not monetizing it in any way, like if you're not collecting direct royalty royalties off streams or income that way, I think you can do it. And there's certain
Hmm.
platforms with restrictions like that have monetizing capabilities. SoundCloud's not one of them. So I think there's certain places you can post it as long as you're not making any money doing these mashups. I think that's right. Is that right, Tom?
I think so. I don't think they post them on Spotify though. They
Yeah.
definitely post them on YouTube, which they might be monetized on YouTube. Well, the thing is, these are like the kings of mashup guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure if anyone was gonna get the rights to use 500 samples in one video, it would be
It would
them.
be them, yeah.
But yeah, I don't. It's tough. Like they definitely post them on SoundCloud for sure. Um, but playing stuff live, like their live shows, you can play whatever you want at a live show.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really know if their YouTube big booty mixes are monetized, but
I would assume not.
it'd
I
be tough to get
think that
because
it
they're
would.
using like so much of the top stuff from all different eras in one video. It would be
Mhm,
tough.
yeah, I would imagine that's not like their mainstream of revenue is through, monetizing the music. It's probably through just live events and
Hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
we're getting to a time where we're gonna have an AI lawyer that's gonna sue someone for quoting AI music in an AI porn of an AI celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna
Uh,
get so bizarre. I don't,
there,
and
yeah,
I don't know how you put like the genie back in the bottle. You know,
yeah.
actually, that's kind of a weird metaphor too, because it is kind of a genie, isn't it? Like a genie is what you rub it and it comes out and talks to you and gives you wishes. I mean, are we like creating a genie?
we might be.
Yeah, it's the whole AI music thing is crazy. So there's like so I do work in like music for TV, and so I have like a publishing deal with a music catalog. So basically they have a roster of artists and we make the music and then production companies come to them and then pay them to license the music. And so whenever a TV show comes with a brief, they're called briefs. So like we're looking for this snippet of music for this scene. They blast it out to all their producers signed on their roster, and bunch of humans make it. But now with the generative uh, AI for music platforms, you can generate 200 of these songs in 30 seconds through
Yeah.
text prompts. And you can also like I think the best one I've heard it's called Suno. It's text to audio. It's definitely the best one I've heard. Um,
Mm.
and if you pay for Suno with like a subscription, you can commercially use whatever you generate in the app. So like you could make 200 songs in there, bring it to some production company and monetize it. which is just absolutely mind blowing. And it's just going into a place where it's it's gonna be weird. It's like
Mm.
real people making music is gonna be it's gonna be a war, an ongoing war for sure with the the human music versus the AI music. It's going to a weird place.
I'm trying to be positive about it.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I was kind of mourning the death of art for like a year. But you know, the thing about this is like text prompts to music that sounds absolutely amazing is it's going to include more people, and then it's going to be even more important like taste. And so people that don't necessarily have the mechanical know-how, let's say like you're quadriplegic, you know what I'm saying? And like you want to be a composer, but like, you know, how are you going to do that? Well, now you have some tools. And if you have exquisite taste and that can be reflected in generative AI, that could be really cool, you know?
Mhm.
And when I mean exquisite taste, I mean my taste, because I don't want to listen to somebody else's garbage, but I want somebody to appeal to me. But there's better chances at that. However, there is like, there's just kind of like something like a cloud over the whole thing where it's like, dude, what, all this music, like why, if you have a beloved singer, you're like, I love Frank Sinatra, but I venture out and I listen to Bublé because I'm looking for the new guy. But now you can just be like, hey, write me 1,000 new Frank Sinatra songs. What does it even make? Why would you even try and, you know, produce new music when people can just listen to the greats over and over? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Why play guitar when you could have the Allman Brothers guitar solo in your song whenever you want to? I mean, I guess it's just going to give birth to like new experiences, and perhaps, you know, the music festivals in the past or in the future will be like a line of people. I'm imagining on stage, and to get the drum sounds, you're just slapping each one of them in the face, so that all those people have a real musical experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Who wants to come to my show?
that would be an experience for sure. I think that we're you know, the AI is good for like background music and like stuff that like B-roll type stuff, but I think it's still a far ways off from like innovative, you know, main stage type music where people are like feeling real good emotion based off of what the AI is making. Like I think we're still a ways away from that type of thing where
I
it's
don't
taking
know.
over the industry.
I don't know, man. What's the guy, Boogie with a Hoodie?
A boogie with the hoodie.
A Boogie with the Hoodie. If he just made an AI album, you think his fans would notice or care?
It's a Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. Like for the usage that I was talking about is like kind of the B-roll background like beats for reality TV, like stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
not, like it can crank out that kind of stuff. The real human element, it can't do yet, but
Mm.
I wouldn't rule it out that it's going to be able to get there. Like I was playing with the generative program, and you can't tell it like tone, you can't tell it like to sound a certain way from a certain time period. It can't really emulate those type things. But this technology is in its like extreme infancy, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out. It's exciting, but also very scary for where it's going. And like I'm a firm believer that technology is going to create, new avenues of creativity and jobs and different things that we didn't realize or never would think
For
could
sure.
exist.
Mm.
But it's definitely scary because there's clear scenarios that a lot of people are going to be deemed irrelevant from this technology. So it's exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It's a weird world, all.
Definitely is.
Cool. I got a couple events. Okay, first and foremost, my lovely wife. It's her birthday on Thursday, so happy birthday, Heidi. That's the highlight of my week. We have I got a link to the 2024 Denver Mini Derby party on Eventbrite. That's for the whole Derby thing. If you're into that, you can check that out. Cinco de Mayo. There's a gigantic festival at I believe City Park. Is it, or is it Civic Center Park? One of the two. It's the big one in Denver. Broadway and Colfax. Yeah, it's at Civic Center Park.
Mm.
You can go down there and check that out. But if you're from Denver, you know that what you do on Cinco de Mayo is you go down to Federal and you get some tacos and you just watch the lowriders go by. That's my favorite thing in the world. There is another kind of non-festival called Tantra Speed Dating. that I thought was noteworthy, largely because they're putting up some like interesting numbers here. You know,
Wow.
I want to make sure that my singles out there that want to make, you know, have connections with somebody on a deep level have those opportunities. Well, this is using some kind of tantra marketing plan. I don't know how much tantra is in this, but they got a 94% match rate.
What?
That's what they say.
94% of people leave with a match? Is that what that means?
I'm not sure exactly how they're getting to that number, but it's pretty high. But you figure like the people, the Venn diagram of people that are want a lasting relationship and are into tantra are probably like that's a good opportunity to commit. Let me see my camera. Let me fix it. There we go. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it is 94%. You know, I mean, you gotta imagine if you're open to tantra, maybe emotionally, you're in a sharing place. You're ready to like
Yeah.
tackle somebody else's, you know, emotions as well. Maybe this is what you need. You know.
94%. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you know, tantra also, you know, it's a form of yoga, one might say. So you could call this speed dating with yoga if you wanted to. I mean, for the
could
sakes
be.
of the podcast, I think we almost have to.
Yeah.
You know.
You might
So
need to.
you want dating plus yoga? We got you. It's at Samadhi Yoga, which is on 19th Street. That's Saturday, May the 4th. Be with you. 5:30 to 8:30. Is there a cost to this? It looks like $45 to $150. I wonder if there's a VIP.
Dang, $45.
I know it's not cheap, but there's a $150 ticket. It looks like. I don't know if that means you get to pre-qualify or something.
Tantra's big business. We have had some tantra clients. We've had
Yeah.
experts coming through the podcast industry.
Yeah, tantra is usually like it gets lopped in there with like tantric sex, you know,
Well,
where
that's the kind of people that we had.
yeah, they were into that like the longer the better, you know. There's like a technique called yabiyum, where it's all about men using breathing techniques to just sustain as long as possible,
Okay.
you know.
That's crazy.
And you know, for some
Tantra
folks,
lifestyle.
that's
But wait, so is this tantra speed dating? I don't get how you're like speed dating tantra style.
mindfully.
I don't get it
Yeah.
because I understand the tantra sex stuff. Like I remember listening in on our old clients' seminar or whatever they were doing. But how are you speed dating that? 'Cause
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Hey man, it's a 94% match rate.
All right, yeah, true. I guess I'm not trying to be a hater. I was just confused as to how this could happen or what you do. And do you just like sit across the table and like
See,
send
well,
energy?
tantra is a adjective, so it really I think it just means like practice. So like a tantra is like something you practice. So if you have tantric sex, then it's like you're having a practice associated with your sex. You know what I'm saying? You're going in there with intention where like it's really about like making sure the dude can last as long as she wants him to. So
Okay.
so there's all kinds of different tantra. But of course, in the West, really what it is just kind of a tribal triggering word to be like, oh, if you're into Tantra, there is kind of an edge of sexuality to it, but there's also this whole gateway to like the Eastern spiritual thing. You know what I mean?
All right.
Where it's like, if you're like tantric dating as a dude, you're like, oh, I'm the kind of guy that likes yoga and Lululemon. It's a tribal signaling thing, you know,
For sure.
which has got to contribute to the high percentage.
Yeah, yeah. If you're into that and everyone there is into that, that's easy matches right there.
Okay, wait. Okay, there's a little bit of differentiation. There's a 94% chance you'll match with at least one person. But what is a match? What does that mean?
Yeah, what is that? Are they
Define
just saying you match?
Okay. 20 opportunities to connect. They max out at 40 singles. You have a chance to spark a connection with 20 different people. We're about quality, not quantity. Huh. I've never done any speed dating. Troy, you?
No, no, no. Just the regular normal speed dating for me.
Normal speed. Yeah. I'll, you know what? I'm new on the market. I might be able to go try some of these things out for us.
That's right. Okay.
I could report on the, well, I don't know about the Tantra one. Like,
Dude, yoga plus dating. This is
I'll
good. This
try
is
a
what we
different
do.
one. I'll try a different one.
Okay. The demographic might skew a little bit more mature than you're accustomed to here, Tom. It says singles 30 to 45 are the largest group, followed by 45 plus,
Oh,
and then 20s. So, are you comfortable with that?
I could do the 20s. I could do the 30 to
Oh, what?
30 to 40 range.
Oh, you're cutting off at 40? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I think
Really
if you
limited options here, Tom.
if you check my dating apps, it might be cutting off lower than that. But
Dude, how dare you discriminate?
what? I'm not.
You're an ageist?
No.
It seems like you are. 45? That's young.
Oh, come
40?
on.
A mere baby.
I just turned 28 this past weekend, so.
Okay. Well, we're signing you up for 55 plus.
Ugh,
There you go.
damn it. All right, yeah, I'll do it.
No, again,
For Tantra.
look. 30 to 45 plus, this is a high percentage for you. You know what I mean? And that makes sense because at that age, you're not trying to mess around with all these bass concerts with Tom. You're looking for yoga plus dating. That's why you want to go to this. You know?
Maybe they might need the bass concerts so that they could hear the music. Like, they play it loud there.
Are you saying older people are deaf?
I don't know. I'm just saying. It
Dude,
might be something that they enjoy more than they think.
that's true. That's true. That's a good point. But from your age bias discrimination, it looks like there's going to be a less than 94% chance at a bass concert they're going to have even a snowball's chance
If I'm
making a match, Tom.
If I got a 94% chance match, I'll go.
Okay. All right. Last thing. Last thing I'm a little bit confused on, but this is like something I'm really excited about. I'm going to pronounce it chill, but I think it's chill, and it's an indigenous foods concept. Okay, and it looks freaking delicious. Okay. Now, why I'm a little bit confused is because it looks like this is a pop-up shop. It looks like it may be a food truck, and it looks like they're also looking for a spot. So what they're doing here is they're doing indigenous Native American foods. It's all vegetarian, plant-based, and it looks absolutely delicious. So I'm having a hard time figuring out, but I know what they've got going is May 11th at 10:30 a.m. at 38th. It's on 38th in Wheat Ridge, 7530 West 38th in Wheat Ridge. They are doing an indigenous plant sale. And what I love about this is, one, the foods that this nice lady, and I'll find her name here, is creating look absolutely delicious, indigenously inspired, but also very gourmet. And what she's doing is putting together all these, and she's calling them indigenous plants, but I think they're really like heirloom. It's kind of like how like a gardener would think about it. Like these are heirloom seeds, kind of like that go back generations. So you got Hopi red watermelon. You've got Navajo winter watermelon. You've got Navajo melons. You got Pueblo chilies. You got scallop squash. You got Navajo blue Hubbard squash. And that's May 11th. So that's probably what, Mother's Day weekend, I think, which is the absolute perfect time to plant your annuals. So if you've got a vegetable garden, why not fill it with indigenous heirloom plants, you know? So that's taking place again, 7530 West 38th Avenue in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. I'm going to keep my eye on this because what she's doing looks really, really cool. The food looks delicious. And if I'm going to the store here, the website is beautiful, but honestly, it's kind of hard to navigate and see exactly what's happening. Well, I'm going to report on this. I'm going to come back. I'm going to probably go to this and get like a squash.
Yes. Don't forget to, I forgot this. Sure, I'm sorry. But don't forget, if you're ever going to a place that you talked about or want to talk about, take some video or something.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
a great
that,
idea.
We can get it on the TikTok. Troy can make some sick content. I forgot I was at Tatsu Izakaya, my ramen spot. I was like, oh, I didn't take like the phone didn't eat before me, because as soon as he came out, I was just like, let's go.
You
Or
forget
with
everything.
any, even like the Chris Lake concert, any sort of content
Oh, I
would
can
be.
do. Yeah, I actually have some from that. I'll.
Yeah, anything would be cool.
Oh, I got you, Troy. I do have stuff from Chris Lake, so
Do we get the green light from Troy on the production?
let's go.
Let's go.
Light, green light.
All right. All right. Narissa Ribera at chill-indigenous-foods.com. Check out what she's doing. She's doing some really cool stuff. All right. We got a little bit of time here. We want to get into our feature. Let's see. Oh, Troy's got a good one. I can probably lead into that. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite sons of Denver, and that's Neil Cassidy. Neil Cassidy is a very interesting person because he's potentially responsible, or at least partly responsible, for both the Beat generation and the hippies. So the Beat generation was largely like a literary and musical kind of counterculture that was kind of rooted in New York, with like Allen Ginsberg and William Burroughs and Jack Kerouac. And the hero of all of those guys was this guy, Neil Cassidy, who was from Denver. And Neil Cassidy grew up kind of on Skid Row, which is now 15th Street, where that WeWork building is, right by the Platte. Well, that used to be like where all the kind of down and out winos lived, and that was Neil Cassidy's dad. So he was raised down there, kind of running the dusty streets of Denver. And Neil, looking for his dad, is the subject matter of Jack Kerouac's book On the Road, where they go from East Coast to West Coast, and they go to Mexico, and they have this gigantic adventure looking for Neil's dad, trying to find his father, and they never do. But what they do find is like a lot of trouble and a lot of good times. It's kind of the classic like bro road trip story, you know?
Nice.
So Neil Cassidy was the hero. And not only that, he was also like Neil Ginsberg and William Burroughs' lover part-time. So a lot of times Neil and Jack are kind of considered like super bro-y, but also major pioneer in queer relations, because we're talking about the 40s and 50s when that necessarily wasn't as commonplace as it is now, at least in like square culture, that they were kind of pushing those boundaries early on. So he was this illustrious figure for the Beats. And what happened was he ends up in Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco. And about this time, there's a guy named Ken Kesey. And Ken Kesey wrote a book called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that was made famous by a Jack Nicholson movie. But the book was a smash hit. He's a young guy. I think he was a Stanford guy, something like that. It's a smash hit, so he gets a boatload of cash. And so what's he going to do with it? He's kind of a freak. He's kind of like enjoying what's going on in San Francisco at the time, which is this budding LSD scene. Because at the time, LSD totally legal. You could go to Berkeley, get on a list, and they just give you like prescription strength acid. And so, obviously what's going to happen is that the bands find it. A little band called the Warlocks, later known as the Grateful Dead, find it. And at the center of this hippie arising, you have Neil Cassidy, who's in his late 30s. It's a bunch of teenagers, young people, but it's Neil Cassidy. And so Ken Kesey puts together what he calls the Merry Pranksters, which is basically the prototypical hippies. They got the flowers in their hair. They got the long dresses. They got everything. And what they also have is a gigantic bus that they paint on the outside, as hippies do, and it's called the Further Bus. And so what Ken Kesey decides to do is like, we're going to take this bus across the country with a bunch of acid and turn all these college kids on to psychedelics. And we're going to stack this bus with audio and visual equipment, with cameras, with camcorders. We're going to document the whole thing, and it's going to be called the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. And at the wheel, driving this bus, none other than Neil Cassidy. Neil Cassidy at the very beginning of the beatnik revolution, and then at the very beginning of the hippie revolution. Son of Denver, never did find his father.
That's wild.
But they are absolutely epic quests of Neil. One called The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Thomas Wolfe, which is an excellent book and a must-read, and the other one, of course, On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And, you know, we were talking about my brother's bar, remember Troy, and he was famed for being, that was kind of his hangout back in the day.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. Those books, we mentioned those books last time too when we talked about the Brothers Bar. I want to check those out.
Yeah. All right. What about you guys? You guys got any Denver legends? Troy, what you got?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This Cassidy fellow definitely lived a interesting life. His life was cut very short too, age 41.
Yeah. Yeah. Age 41. I think he died in Mexico. And if you look at pictures of him, dude looks like he's 69 years old.
I'm sure, yeah.
He lived hard, man.
Says he was found unconscious on train tracks. Yeah, he was a wild one for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, one of the Denver myths slash legends that actually sounds like it kind of has some factual um, basis to it that I wanted to talk about were is the Denver Underground Tunnels, also known as the Denver Catacombs or the Denver Tunnel System. Um, is this something, have you guys heard about this before? Is this like a common thing in Denver that people talk about? Is this underground Denver tunnel system?
It is definitely real. We have seen an entrance. I don't know if we should disclose the entrance, but it exists.
It is real. Yes, we can validate.
We know
That
of
is
multiple entry and exit points. Ones that we could say that are pretty obvious. There is a connection point at Union Station,
That's right.
and then the Capitol and like the Mint are connected,
And the Brown Palace.
and the Brown Palace is connected. Yes.
Yep.
interesting. Yeah, and there's all kinds of different folklore and um, myths and legends surrounding these tunnels, but it looks like there's actually some factual and practical uses that these tunnels were used for. They were built in the early or in the late 19th century, early 20th century for various purposes, including um, transportation of goods and people, uh, particularly during the Prohibition. So there was a lot of activity for the red light district and speakeasies. That was a big thing. Like you guys mentioned, there was connection to the Brown Palace Hotel. Um, and they were just used as utility tunnels, also as a tunnel from the Colorado State Capitol um, to the nearby Colorado State Capitol Annex, which was built for security reasons, providing a safe passage for lawmakers and officials between the two buildings. So it sounds like there was some real uses that these tunnels were used for throughout the years before eventual abandonment. Um, I wonder if they're just completely abandoned now, or is there anyone down there? Is there anything going on down there? Or are they just completely empty tunnels that are just unsafe to enter and no one's really explored?
We got to find out, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's not anyone down there. I think we would have heard if there was like a population down there, living down there or something, because I really don't think
Yeah.
it's not very easily accessible. Like you can't just find it on the streets. There's
a
distinct
couple of
entrances
Yeah.
into this thing, and yeah, it seems like a really cool thing to explore. I don't know how much trouble you can get in for going down there or what, but you need to have an entry point. We might have one.
Yeah, we got to get Kyle down here to talk about that because the portal that Tom and I saw is in Curtis Park. And Curtis Park was built as kind of the well-to-do neighborhood in Denver, and they used to have these towers because Curtis Park is just north, of the Confluence Park, which is where the Platte River meets the Cherry Creek River. I mean, river. Those are stretch. But that was there was the original kind of Denver encampment, but also that was where there was a big Cheyenne encampment And so all these well-to-dos built this like beautiful neighborhood in Curtis Park, but they were scared that like, you know, that if there was a Cheyenne uprising or something like that, that like they wouldn't be protected. So they had this portal that they could go, you know, if you sound the alarm and they could run down there and I don't know, go to the Brown Palace or something. But that was the portal that we saw.
Yeah, and we definitely know for sure that the tunnels were also used to smuggle things like munitions and weapons for the Colorado militia.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, according to Kyle, who does not tell lies.
And these tunnels are no joke. They're like, you know what I mean, big, 10 feet diameter, something like that.
Yeah, I've only seen the door. I didn't get to go in past the door, but
that's crazy.
It's a real door.
Interesting.
Tunnels, man.
I want to dig into this a little deeper, do some research. I just watched a documentary on there's like the whole Vegas underground tunnel system, and there's an entire community of like people that live down there. Like there's like a community that just built a life down there. So, yeah,
tunnel people. Whoa.
Yeah, I'd imagine Denver probably doesn't have the weather that would be permitting to live in a tunnel year round, but you never know.
Yeah, there's a huge permanent population in the tunnels in Vegas. I know that for sure. And when I was there, those like monsoons had just come up through California and up into Vegas, and there was a straight up river just washing out like the entire tunnel system.
Oh, no.
Like some of them drowned.
Yeah, people definitely had to have died. Yeah.
Oh no.
Because there's so many people down there, and also at that time in Vegas, it was very clear that like a lot of these people are now on the streets, and like there was big like unrest on the strip and stuff because all of these people who typically are living in the tunnels are now up here, and you know, some of them are not doing good things. They're doing crime and things, or some of them are just like obviously misplaced because they were living in the tunnels, and they had literally, there was this one part, it was by the Flamingo in Las Vegas, and that parking garage, like there's a connection to the tunnel system there, and you could see a real river flowing out of the tunnels, just carrying couches and clothes and all furniture and stuff, because people have literal like homes
down there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the river is just washing it all out. And that it's a big thing in Vegas. There was lots of unrest around that time. I think they have all since moved back into the tunnels, but I don't think they necessarily want to sweep the tunnels because they want the people to stay underground because it was causing like big issues when they were above ground, and they don't want to be above ground. So I think they're just letting the people stay down there.
Leave them under there. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing in Vegas, right?
Sounds like they had a sofa.
People they definitely had sofas. I was seeing like full houses worth of stuff just getting washed out. We had to detour around it.
We can't be certain that there's not an underground society of people living in the Denver tunnels until we go down there and see for ourselves.
This is true.
We can't be certain.
Yeah.
They could be down there. They could be down there. I mean, like, look, if you could treat schizophrenia and like give people a couple of meals, why not set up in the tunnels? Is that inhumane? Is that bad? It seems like a step above of what we got going now, which is nothing. So I don't know.
For real. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, Tom, what you got, buddy?
Anyway, I have one of my favorite stories, legends, conspiracies, whatever you want to call it, has to do with the entire Denver airport consortment of conspiracies and stories. This is an actual, very true story that is confirmed and verified and real. If people don't know, Denver Airport has a whole bunch of conspiracies floating around and different types of ideas about maybe it's a doomsday shelter for the world's elite, and they have dark subliminal messaging all around the airport and on these murals that are on the largest walls, and they just, you know, portray these scenes of doomsday and
apocalypse,
the end of peace and everything, and it's just whatever. That's crazy stuff. I'm not going to get too far into the DIA things, but what I am going to get into is the Blue Mustang horse, otherwise known as Blucifer, who sits outside of the Denver airport. It is a sculpture. Troy, I know you've been to Denver, but, well, I think you were here at one point, right, Troy? It's hard to miss when you're coming in and out of the airport. It's a huge blue Mustang standing on its hind legs, and it has these glowing, evil red eyes. It's right at the exit of the airport. You can't miss it. It's a very creepy thing.
I saw it.
It's very creepy.
Okay,
Yeah.
Troy saw it. It's creepy, and like if it's like a dark night, it could be a little foggy out. You might not see anything other than it's like red glowing eyes, but you can always see those eyes no matter what's going on. This sculpture was a commission from the city of Denver while they were building the airport. Excuse me. I mean, my internet connection is really rough right now, so I'm trying to get us the name of the guy. Bum, 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 bum. Oh man, I can't even scroll. Am I still streaming?
Is it going? Did we lose it?
Can you hear us, Troy?
I can hear you. Very choppy video, but I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, all right, I got it. The statue is commissioned to be built by the city of Denver in the mid 1990s. And the statue was completed behind schedule and unveiled at the airport in 2008. So this is a long time for a statue. But the artist, Luis Jimenez, was working on this famous blue Mustang statue. A section, so he was almost near completion, like within hours of completion. And a section of the 32-foot tall, 9,000-pound cast fiberglass sculpture fell onto the artist, Luis, severing an artery in his leg, killing him. So this giant horse sculpture that is outside of the airport killed its creator upon completion, and they still put it up there.
Dude, you got to. At that point, you're committed.
Yeah.
It's like his tombstone.
It's his legacy, I guess.
Legacy?
It is legacy, yes. But okay, so it severs the artery in his leg. The sculpture had to be finished by his family and friends. A group of professional lowriders and race car painters, Richard Lovato and Camilo Nunez, finished it because there was just a little bit of painting left to do. And they still put it up. So Blucifer, ultimately scary, creepy horse outside of the airport, killed its creator right when it was done.
Oh man, it's scary, dude. I have some buddies that do like very large installation type architecture, artwork stuff, and that story always creeps me out because you know how deep you got to cut to bust an artery in your leg.
Oh my gosh,
bro,
yeah.
that's like you're gonna wish you were dead before you bleed out, you know.
Yeah, and it's a huge thing, and it's not necessarily sharp. I'm sure it was like blunt force puncture of an artery. So, man, shout out to Luis, but your statue's still up there. There was some, apparently, any sort of art installation like this in Denver is guaranteed to be up for 5 years. So if it gets approved and put up, they won't even consider petitions to take it down for 5 years.
Nice.
So it went up in 2008, and there was lots of backlash when it first went up because people think it's scary. And they thought they were going to try a petition in 2013 to get it out of there. But no petition ever came up, and they don't think there's ever going to be one.
Sick. Yeah, you got to. I mean,
it's cool. It's
It's
a
cool.
staple. It's like the Guardian of Denver.
yeah, it's mean.
When
It's
you
blue.
come in.
Like there's a big blue bear downtown too. What's it with blue?
Yeah, the blue bear downtown too. Yeah.
But he's nice. I mean, he's not scary like Lucifer.
No, Lucifer is scary.
Yeah.
That's my story.
That's wild. That's a wild story.
It's one of my favorite ones.
That's a solid one. All right. That's a wrap. Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Tom. Good episode.
Yeah, we still have some 6 minutes if you want to talk about a highlight from last week.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. What do you got?
Hold on a second. I'm Xing out the Lucifer page because it's causing this. It's all the ads on it. So you go ahead first if you got a highlight.
Dude, mine's just basic. It's the Nuggets. You know, it was just a great week of watching basketball. I love the Nuggets. That is all. Troy, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to recover from that one from last night. Just fought so hard. I guess go Nuggets now. Go Nuggets.
Jump on the
My
bandwagon.
highlight from last week is yeah, you have to. I spent the week in Florida with my family. Haven't seen them in like over 4 months. It was super nice to get out there, a little mini vacation. The weather was beautiful. Just hung out at the beach, played a lot of sports, played basketball, football. Just got outside, got some exercise. It was a great relaxing weekend. What part of Florida are you going to, Tom?
I'm going to be in Fort Myers, Florida with family, so we're on similar schedules.
Fort Myers. I was in Sebastian, so that
Fort Myers is West Coast on the Gulf.
yeah, so that's kind of far. But hopefully the weather was as good as it was where I was at because it was awesome.
Nice. Hell yeah. I think it should be. Wow, the Lucifer page is what was killing my computer. It was using 2 gigabytes of memory.
It was like cutting off the artery of your data
of my laptop.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The tunnels of the internet are being absconded by. Oh, why?
Man, I'll give the highlights. One highlight: the Snowbond Thornton. If you're down for adventure, jumping, skateboarding, biking, scootering, even rollerblading, whatever. Or if you want to learn how to ski inside, hit up Snowbond. They have the best tramp wall set up in Denver. One of the only ones. And then obviously Club 5280 Chris Lake was the place to be on Friday and Saturday night. If you weren't there, you missed out.
That's all you, dog.
I got a video. Troy's gonna hook us up with a TikTok about it, and I'll send it over.
Send that over.
That will do.
That's it.